In the dead of the open ocean, where the water stretches to every horizon, ships vanish. Entire crews, vessels weighing thousands of tons, gone. There are no storms recorded on the charts. No mayday calls crackling over the radio. Just silence. And the cause, the thing that naval architects and oceanographers refuse to believe for centuries, is often not the sea itself but a single, impossible wave. This is the story of how the ocean's deadliest secret was finally forced into the light. For hundreds of years, the stories were the same, passed down in hushed tones in portside taverns from Lisbon to Shanghai. A sailor, his face pale, his hands still trembling, would describe a moment that defied all logic. They'd speak of a calm sea, maybe a gentle swell, the kind of day that makes you forget the power lurking beneath. And then, out of nowhere, a vertical wall of water. A blue-black cliff face rising from the deep, steep and monstrous. It wasn't a long, rolling wave. It wasn't the chaos of a hurricane. It was one single, solitary impact. One moment, they were on watch; the next, they were fighting for their lives in a sea of debris, the ship and their crewmates simply gone. Those few who survived and made it back to shore were dismissed. Their tales were branded as seafaring myths, the product of fear, exhaustion, or too much rum. They were told they were exaggerating. That what they saw was impossible. That they were simply wrong. And science, for a very long time, agreed with the skeptics. The mathematical models used to understand the ocean had firm limits. These models, based on linear wave theory, predicted that waves in a given sea state couldn't exceed a certain height. You could have 100 waves, 1,000 waves, but they would all exist within a predictable range. The idea of one wave suddenly appearing that was 2, or even 3 times taller than all the others on it. It was a statistical fantasy. An impossibility. So, when a massive container ship or a bulk carrier disappeared without a trace, the official explanations were always safer, more logical. Human error. Catastrophic technical failure. Perhaps they hit an uncharted reef. The blame was placed anywhere and everywhere but on the one thing the survivors insisted on, that the ocean itself could, in a moment of pure, unpredictable violence, strike once and obliterate everything. The official term was often disappeared, a chillingly sterile word for a vessel and its crew erased from existence. Then came January 1, 1995. New Year's Day. In the notoriously rough waters of the North Sea, an automated gas platform named Draupneri stood its ground against a fierce winter storm. There were no sailors on deck to witness what happened next. No one to feel the primal fear. There were only instruments. Cold, impartial sensors designed to measure the stress on the platform structure. And at 3:20 in the afternoon, those instruments recorded something that every existing scientific model said could not happen. Amidst waves averaging around 12 meters, or 40 feet, a single, solitary wave slammed into the platform. A laser sensor measured its height from trough to crest, 25.6 meters, 84 feet. It was a liquid mountain that had risen from the sea, a true monster of the deep. There was no sequence of growing waves, no warning. It was one solitary, vertical strike. This wasn't a discovery made in a lab. Science didn't seek it out. The data from Draupneri was so undeniable, so concrete, that science was forced to accept a terrifying new reality. The sailors hadn't been lying. They had been telling the truth all along. So what makes a rogue wave so fundamentally different, so much deadlier than a storm wave? A normal storm generates massive, powerful waves, but they have a shape ships are designed to handle. They have a slope face and a relatively long wavelength. A ship can ride up the face of the wave and down the back. It's a violent, terrifying roller coaster, but it's one that modern engineering can usually survive. A rogue wave is different. It doesn't roll in. It doesn't have a gentle slope. It stands up. Some describe it as a hole in the sea followed by a near vertical wall of water. It is less of a wave and more of a collision. When thousands, even millions, of tons of water moving at highway speeds strike a ship not from the side, but head-on like a freight train, the laws of naval architecture are rendered meaningless. Steel that is inches thick can be crumpled like aluminum foil. Hatch covers designed to withstand immense pressure are torn away, allowing thousands of tons of water to flood into the cargo holds in seconds. The force is so immense, it doesn't just sink a ship, it can break it in two. It is not a wave. It is an impact. This is why so many ships simply disappear. There is no time for a distress call. No time to launch lifeboats. No time even to understand what is happening. One moment, the bridge is 60 feet above the water. The next, it is buried under a collapsing wall of green and white. The entire event, from the appearance of the wave to the ship's final descent, can be over in less than a minute. In many cases, the force is so catastrophic that the vessel sinks almost instantly, leaving little to no debris on the surface. No oil slick. No floating cargo. Nothing. This is why for decades, maritime records listed so many vessels not as sunk, but as missing or disappeared. It was as if they had sailed off the edge of the world. In reality, they had encountered a piece of the ocean that behaved as if it were from another world. The Doppler wave forced a complete revolution in oceanography. Scientists now understand that rogue waves are not as rare as once believed. They are likely formed by several wave patterns overlapping and combining their energy at a single point, a phenomenon called constructive interference, but on an extreme scale. They can happen in any ocean, at any time, often in seas that are not particularly stormy. Since 1995, satellite radar has confirmed the existence of these monsters all over the globe, appearing and disappearing in the blink of an eye, for every ship that vanishes. For every story dismissed as a tall tale, we now have the data. We have the proof. The ocean keeps its secrets well, but the whispers from those who survived, and the silent data from a lonely platform in the North Sea, finally told the same story. A story of a single, vertical wall of water. A force of nature so sudden and so absolute, that survival is a matter of pure, dumb luck. The most terrifying thing about rogue waves isn't their size or their power. It's the fact that they are a singular event. They appear from nowhere, they deliver one cataclysmic blow, and then they are gone, leaving the sea to return to normal, as if nothing ever happened. The most terrifying thing about rogue waves is that if you are unlucky enough to see one, you will almost certainly never see another. Thanks for watching. If you found this story chilling, be sure to follow Whispering Archives for more tales from the shadows of history.